Hello, good day, good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you are finding this video. My name is Sarah and this is Coyote Tarot, and this is day 7 to 11 of 31 Days of Tarot 2022. So let's start. Day 7, your most worked with deck, tarot deck in 2021, and why? So this is tricky for me because I alternate my decks every single month, and I do that to make sure that I get equal playing time with all of them so that I'm not wasting any of them. So it was fairly even. That being said, in the beginning of the year, I didn't really have as many as I have at the end of the year. Obviously, you purchase more and accumulate more throughout the year. So one of the first ones that I purchased was the Light Seers Tarot. I did purchase the Wild Unknown, but being a newbie, I found it really difficult to read with. So this was one of my earlier tarot deck purchases. And for that reason, it did get a little bit more airtime with me than any other deck because it was the one that I was working with kind of solo for the first little bit. I don't love the backs. I don't know why. I'm not a fan of the backs of Chris Ann's decks. I don't know, call me crazy. But yeah, so this was one of the ones that I worked with probably quite a bit in the beginning, especially because I was coming off of the Rider-Waite and was really wanting to have a deck that I could resonate with a little bit better, something that was more my aesthetic. So this was definitely one of the ones that got a lot of use out of me in the beginning because it was one of the first ones that I used post traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. Next question. Share one of the new things that you learned about tarot last year. Probably one of the bigger things is that I learned reversals. I took my level 2 tarot course, which is specifically on reversals, in November of 2021. So that was kind of a big thing. It's still something that I'm working through because it's still very new. I'm still obviously learning it. Other than that, like there's been definitely little things that I've learned along the way, but nothing that's standing out. It's definitely my tarot level 2 course, which was reversals, which has been interesting. I'm still undecided if reversals is going to be something that is in my practice regularly, but I did want to take that course to give myself the option and at least learn about it and decide after learning about it if, yes, this was something that works for me or no, not really so much for me. All right, day 9, the top decks on your wish list now. So there's a couple that are not tarot decks here, but the question doesn't specify tarot or oracle, so I'm throwing them in. One of them has a footnote, so I'll save it till the end. The 5 Cent Tarot is on my list. It's a newer one. Again, with learning reversals, I am super excited to get this deck. I don't know when I'm going to be ordering it. It's kind of on the pricier side, so I'll probably wait until after recovering from Christmas. But when you reverse it, it has keywords on both sides, so I really like it. And I also really like the artwork. It is not something that's in my normal spectrum of things that I would go for, but I like it and I love that I like it, and I do love that it's something different that I have in all of my other decks. So I am looking forward to obtaining that one at some point in 2022. The Winter Waite is another one that I've had my eye on for a while. I would have loved to have had it this past Christmas, but I bought too many other decks, so I told myself, no, you're not getting it this year. You'll have it at some point for next year. And again, with it being a Christmas deck, I don't feel like I have to order it right now. It is also a pricier one, so it's probably something I'll order maybe like the end of summer kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. The other one is the Spread Machine, and it is not either a tarot deck or an oracle deck. It's a spread kind of creator, I guess. It is very expensive. Like this deck would be over $100 for me Canadian to purchase, and that is that's a little too much for me. So I don't know that I will ever actually own the deck or ever actually buy it, but it is something that's on the wish list. So you never know, maybe there'll be a sale, or, you know, I can put birthday money towards it or something. I don't know, but it is on the wish list. It's something that's extremely interesting. I love the concept. I think you can buy expansion packs for it, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. There are other ones like it. I think there's one called the Spread Deck also on Etsy. I just like the spread machine more. I like the aesthetic more. I like the concept, the prompts that they have more. So we'll see. And the last one is also an Oracle deck, and pre-orders open up January 11th, with shipping will be in April of 2022, and it is the Reclaim Oracle deck. I saw this Oracle deck on Kickstarter and I opted to not buy it, and I am kicking myself. To me, the figures on the card, I just couldn't relate to them and I couldn't get past it at the time. But now that I've seen more YouTube videos and I've seen more about the messages, I don't even care about the figures. They're more beings. They're different looking. I wouldn't call them human, but kind of, I don't know, weird. If you know the deck, you know, if you know, you know. But anyway, the creator had an issue with shipping and lost an entire order of hers at some point. I don't know when, I'm not sure of the details, but 3 boxes just showed up on her doorstep a few days back. So she did post the second edition on her website and on her Etsy store at a discounted price. So I'm okay owning the second edition. The third edition would have been nice because I think she's adding at least 2 more cards to it, but I'm okay owning the second edition. So I did purchase that one. So it'll be on the way shortly. So yes, on the wish list, but I also purchased it already. So, all right. Day 10, your top underrated tarot decks. I really only grabbed one because for the most part, my collection is pretty mainstream. I don't really think any of them are too underrated. They're all pretty popular. Even the one that I'm about to show you is still pretty popular. I just don't see it as much. And I do have a very specific reason for enjoying this deck. It's the Marigold Tarot by Amrit Brar. They are also local to where I'm from-ish. Pretty close in the grand scheme of things. So that was pretty cool to me. I just don't see this deck a lot. Here's the backs. Oh, that stupid light. And I think one of the reasons why this deck is not as popular as it could be is that it is skeletons. Oh my gosh, like even just looking at the flower in the middle of that 9. It's gorgeous. So one of the things I love about this deck, I'm getting distracted by the beautiful images. She chose skeletons because at the end of the day, when you take away our skin color, when you take away how much we weigh, when you take away our religious beliefs, when you take away all of that, we all have a skeleton. Take away the gender roles or names that we're given, we're all the same underneath. And that's one of the reasons why the creator chose to use skeletons, and I love it. And they did say, so here is the 4 of Cups. They chose skulls as vessels for the cups. And again, if you don't like skeletons, you don't like skulls, this might not be for you. And I totally get it. But I also think that it should be given a chance and it should be celebrated maybe a little bit more than it is. Also, I don't know where the Fool is, but they have a great explanation for the Fool and why the Fool they show as sitting down. This isn't the Fool, obviously, but here's one with a hand in it. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. But yes, a little pippish. So that's kind of where I struggle with it. It does not come with a book, but it does come with a PDF document. And the PDF document does a great job of explaining the herbs and flowers that they chose to use in each individual card, and also explaining the outfits, because it is traditional Punjabi outfits for the most part. And they explain the outfits, which I think is fantastic. But yes, pippish. So, oh my gosh. I could talk about this deck forever. I love this Lover's card. Love it. Anyway, that's one of the underrated decks that I think I have in my collection. All right. Where are we at now? Day 11 and last day for this video is how can you put a positive spin on the Death card? So let's find the Death card in our Marigold Tarot. Oh, this one is probably a poor example for this question. So here we go. Let's get it so the light is not killing it. So for it's going to be a pretty basic interpretation. I'm still fairly new at the tarot, but for me, anytime I see the Death card, it is a symbol of new beginnings. Yes, there is an ending. It's kind of very similar to the Ten of Swords in a way to me. Something is ending, but that thing needed to end. Whatever is ending, it might not be the most desirable outcome that you have for the situation, but it will open new doors at the end of the day for other experiences or other situations that can positively affect you just as much, or if not more, than the previous situation that had to end. And it creates new beginnings. When one door closes, another door opens. That's a perfect way of describing the Death card, I think. And also, I do definitely think one of the words that I like to use for the Death card is embracing it rather than fearing it. So I think it can present an opportunity for people to work on, or I was going to say journal about, but maybe not really, but just work on why they have such resistance to certain things instead of embracing it. Because when you resist something, when you're afraid of something, it makes it so much more difficult than it needs to be. Whereas if you just embrace it, it can work out in your favor and things can be so much easier. One of the times I pulled the Death card, it was back when I was doing a card a day. It was the Wild Unknown deck. So it was back in the beginning of my tarot journey, and it was in like whenever we had lockdown. It was March of 2020. And I was really upset about the lockdown and not really understanding what was happening. And, you know, I love my friends are my second family. So being told I can't see my friends was something that I was really upset about and concerned about what's going to happen if I cannot see my friends. So, yeah, I did say March 2020. So I did this daily pull and I got the Death card. And that was one of the things that popped into my head was, instead of being afraid of it, accept it and embrace it. And I do think that that helped shift my perspective about that particular lockdown. I mean, I'm kind of over them right now. I don't know if you know, but Ontario, where I am in Canada, is in a modified stage 2. Don't ask me what that means because I'm not even sure. Lockdown. So here we are again. But yeah, so definitely that's how I personally would put a positive spin. Long story short, that's how I would put a positive spin on the Death card. Also, depending on the situation, depending on when it was pulled, it can shift depending on the meaning, or where it is in the spread, or what the question from the querent was, etc. So there you have it, days 7 to 11. My next video will be 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And that'll be posted on day 16. So I will see you then. I've been loving watching these. I put them on my elliptical. That's why I also am not wearing a lot of makeup, by the way, is because I'm going to work out right now. So sorry about my face. Enjoy your day, and I will see you in a few days.